sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is the Breakfast Bankroll for Friday, January 21st, 2022. I am blessed, honored. Everyone is here. Last Friday, Bernie Fratto. This Friday, I got the call 2 days ago. We scrambled the desk. We checked out the secretaries, the agents, and I said, we got to make this happen. And we did. I mean, what better way to bring on this gentleman on an action-packed NFL Divisional Championship, semifinals with 4 games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Be able to get a real temperature on what's going on out in Vegas. There's your hint, Vegas. The real Vegas, Dave. That's your hint again. Mr. Dave Sharapan, good friend, keeps me on my toes, and I hope sometimes I keep him on his toes. So without further ado, let's bring him on, Mr. Dave Sharapan.
Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm up on my toes right now. Actually, now that you said that, I'm on my toes. I can hear the dog snoring in the background, so that's a soothing, comforting, relaxing sound behind us, and we're ready to go. I mean, it's Friday, another day. I got the rundown. I got the script. We're all prepped. We're all ready to go. So we're good.
I tell you what, it's funny. I was just your co-host on your show, Book versus Bostonian?
Bostonian versus the Book. It should be Book versus the Bostonian. We've had a dispute about that. I should get the front billing, of course, but I'll take it. Bostonian versus the Book. This Boston thing, you people are very, very, very confident, and you got all this taste of these championships. Him and I had that discussion about championships. You at least understand what it was like to be a Boston sports fan before it was cool, before it was winners, before it was champions. You're not old enough to remember Cousy and Russell, but you could appreciate it. You had all them years of losing in the Red Sox and stuff. You at least, you're a real one.
I'm so glad you bring that up, because you know what I despise the most is.
Please tell me.
Obviously, we have a heated rivalry with the Yankees. Okay?
Same game parlays? You despise those the most? The word lock, is that on your list? I don't know.
Lock and Wales. How's that one?
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
The Red Sox Yankees are heated rivalries. Okay.
So I've heard.
When the Yankee fan throws up 27 championships in your face, I just find that mind-boggling, because, like your intro, how many were you actually around for? Okay. I never bring up the fact that the Celtics won 10 straight NBA championships. I don't.
Can you imagine how good they must have been?
10.
Like, can you imagine how good they must have been? It's so hard to repeat now. They won 10 in a row. I mean, yeah, there weren't that many teams. They weren't this, that, they won all them championships. Like, I don't know. You're right, though. Like, but I mean, in fairness, when you guys won that World Series in 2004, I was in the book. I was very, very happy for you. When you won the next one, you acted like you were the Yankees. You walked around on your tiptoes. You told everybody, we're the best. We're this, we're that. It was second worst compared to the Cubs when they won in 2016. Again, very happy for those people. Very, very happy. Although, if Cleveland would have won, I would have made more money. That would have been much better. But Cubs fans act like they've been walking around like the Yankees for years. Cubs fans, relax. Everybody calm down. It's year to year. I don't know what these people get crazy.
I was sitting in my living room 2003 at 1 a.m. when Wakefield gives up the home run to the Yankees. I've never felt so attached to a team than that '03 team. And I got the biggest gut punch. And I was working at a private golf course at the time. And of course, there was one Yankee fan, and he was, smiles ear to ear. And the rest of us were just like, we got run over by a bus. Never
Oh,
so intense. Every pitch,
oh,
we were at the edge of our seat. So then we get to '04, and we're down 3-0. And in comes Mariano, and we're up a run. And, Dave
Roberts.
is on first, and everyone knows he's got to go. That's our only chance. And whenever they tie the game and then obviously win it in the extras, the momentum started to come. And then they win the next game. So now it's 3-2, and they're going to New York. But it was like that momentum, the fact that we were going back to the Bronx, we had Schilling going in game 6. And the fact of the matter is, by the time it got to game 7, there was no doubt in our mind that we were going to win that game. And we get a grand slam in the first inning by, I think it was Damon.
Yeah.
Right. And the rest is history. But where I want to go with this, Dave, is from '04 to now, we have 4 championships.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So can you tell me what the Yankee fan, or take it a step further, the Dallas fan, what is it, 1980 something since Dallas has won a Super Bowl?
I think it was 91 or 92, something like
91,
that. Yeah.
92. Okay.
Something
So
like
that
that.
was,
Yeah.
that was Troy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But these proud franchise, it's kind of, what have you done for us lately?
Oh, definitely. I agree with you. They're brands, though. I mean, and people love the brand, but the brand hasn't won in a long time. But they don't know that because they don't even know the history of the brand. That's the funny part about a lot of the fans. They give you the guff and all that other stuff. I remember that Red Sox World Series. I was in the book at the Golden Nugget. We put up 20-1 when the Yankees were up 3-0. We had one person take the Red Sox for $10. They won $200. It was great. It was great. And we were all like, oh, the next day, we're like, hey, they won. What is it now? 15. Nobody bet it. How are they going to win 3 in a row? They just won last night. The miracle, blah, 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 blah. So I lived that in the book. It was fun. And obviously, I'm a baseball guy, so I loved that whole thing. The thing I got you off track was you were going to probably take a shot at Peralt, which is always fine because I take shots at him every day. So it's fun on the Bostonian versus the book. That's kind of the show. But we have fun back and forth. It's these Patriot fans. Man, oh man. You remember when they stunk. You remember when they were kind of they went to 2 Super Bowls and got that Super Bowl shuffle. Super Bowl. I remember that. I was 15. I wore Craig James' red jersey. I couldn't wait. I thought they were going to beat the Bears, take them down. We're rooting for the AFC. Nope. And for a long time, they couldn't beat Dan Marino. They couldn't beat the Dolphins. And then they got good, and it's been great since. But man, oh man, people. It's fun, though. It is fun to talk about. It's fun. It's fun to look at, and now we got all this gambling space stuff. We're talking about games and spreads. And, you and I are old enough to remember the games, what happened, where we were. I may not always remember the spreads, but now you can look it up on the internet. You can find out, oh, yeah, I remember that. I probably had the dog. Or, I definitely. When your Patriots came in and beat the Steelers as 10-point dogs 20 years ago after the Tuck rule, I'm still pissed about that. I was coming to Vegas, all his plans, everything out the window. I was so mad when that team was good. Troy Brown ran back a punt like 3 minutes into the game, and it was never the same.
I think back to your 20-1, your 15-1, and now look where gambling is. Look at the apps. Look at all of in-game parlays. And oh, by the way, in-game betting is your best friend. Now that's the new one, and I could talk till hours and hours to people. I get it. Okay, ECSI considers themselves one of the better. I didn't say the best, but one of the better pre-flop analysis specialists, whatever you want to say. We do all the work before the game. I didn't say in-game second half plays where you can get ahead, you can double down, you can do whatever you want. I'm not saying that's not wrong. But when someone tries to look you straight in the face or go on social media with a big platform and tell you, listen, if you don't like the line, wait for the in-game line, and you'll get a better number. So again, if you wanted Buffalo last week, no, that didn't work.
Nope.
There was a couple other blowouts. There was a couple other box to wires. Again, it didn't work. The only time you got that would have worked was your Pittsburgh Steelers versus Kansas City, where Pittsburgh jumps out 7-0, not early, but in the second quarter.
Yep.
And immediately Kansas City's 4.5 to win that game. So if you wanted to sit and wait, and you could have got that one, but the other three games you couldn't have done that.
There's a lot of stuff going around right now that's I don't want to say it's bad advice. It's just, my tagline is nobody knows shit, right? I say it all the time. And I don't mean it literally, but I mean it, pretty much literally. There's a lot of people saying a lot of things that just, it's not true. It's not, or it doesn't always apply. You've been around the game 30 years. I've been around it for 40 years probably, but I've been in every aspect of being in a book, being a bettor, being a, working phones for a guy who was answering a phone in the basement of a barber shop. I mean, living in the Caribbean, doing all that stuff. When I hear this stuff, I just kind of giggle to myself and go, okay, that sounds good. And to a newbie, and I don't mean newbie, my co-host on Cash Considerations. I mean a newbie bettor or newbie person in the space. It sounds really good. And then they go and they try this in-game betting and they're like, whoa, wait, they said that you could get a better line, but I could have laid 4.5 or 5 with the Bills, but now it's 10. Now it's 17. What's happening here? They lied. They didn't say that. What do I do? So just be cautious with that stuff. And I tell you all the time, when we talk and text and stuff, just breathe, let it go, because it's all going to settle. It's all going to be fine. We're going to be good. Just the light finds the light in the dark. And right now there's an abyss of dark, and people keep jumping up and pretending like they're a spotlight or trying their best. I'm not downing anybody. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be doing this. Go for it. But the lights will find the lights.
I'm going to tell everyone a quick true story here. And again, I have a million war stories. I like to tell my side of the story because I made so many mistakes when I was younger.
We all did.
I want everyone to listen to my mistakes and not have to walk down those streets and avenues,
right,
and make those same mistakes. Let my mistakes be the lesson. Don't make those mistakes. That's all.
Right.
Okay. So Patriots, Falcons, Super Bowl. ECSI releases Patriots minus 145 on the money line. That was our selection.
The line was 3. You chose the money line.
Correct. I just
a way shorter money line than it should have been. That's another key factor when you have the shorter favorites in the Super Bowl. The money line is so tight because people consistently bet the money line favorite, or they lay the points with the money line with the favorite and take the dog on the money line. Mm-hmm. So you can get a good price if you like the favorite. See, you're always thinking. Go ahead. Sorry.
So have a good friend, a business owner, a very successful one, owning a couple restaurants, very successful. Gets our information. The first real investor the ECSI had into the business side of it, And so he's at his restaurant, and of course they got the Super Bowl squares, and of course, having a few cocktails, and it's the Super Bowl, so you're going to let loose. And this was again now a handful of years ago, before the real big push here with the in-game parlays and all that other stuff. Okay, you could bet first half, second halves, you could get in, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now today. So I think this gentleman, let's just say, for instance, he bet 3 to make 2 on the game. Okay, now
Okay.
that
Yeah.
he's not a big player, but he likes his actions, especially in football. It's 28-3. Everyone knows 28-3.
Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah.
He bets 3,000 to make 100 on the Falcons.
No, he didn't.
So then it's 28-11, and he bet 2,000 to make 100 on the Falcons.
Oh boy.
So after the comeback, after the win, he basically lost.
He net lost.
He lost $7,000 on that game.
And he had the right side at the beginning.
He had 3 to make 2 in the beginning. So he woke up the next morning with a big melon, and he called me up. He goes, never again, never again. And this is such a successful businessman. This is a guy that both restaurants are generating well over $1 million. And again, it's more for fun, a little. And he got caught up in 28-3. They're not going to come back. 28-11, even they're not going to come back. And yeah, chasing in game, a $3 play cost him $7,000.
It's very easy to do. I've seen it. It's very easy to do. It's a good story and a good lesson. And I think there's a lot of things that go on like that a lot of people don't know. And it doesn't hurt to tell those stories. And then hopefully somebody goes, hey, I heard these guys talk on this show that, talk about this in game. You can chase losses. You can this. And yeah, you sure can. When it works, it's great. I always say all the time, like, trends are your friends until they're not. Same with the in game. The in game can bury you just in one game. How about chasing Golden State last night? You could have chased Golden State all the way to the Brooksville. If you bet Golden State last night.
I saw, and I didn't text it to you because I'm trying to be real good, but I saw a 10-star lock of the day, a 10-unit play.
Oh, 10 units. That's a big play.
Golden State minus 750 money line. How's that?
Oh, can't lose. Can't lose. All it takes is one of those 10 units. Whale play. These people are crazy, Jeffrey.
All right, Dave. We got the weekend here.
We do.
Everyone here, everyone across the world has been scrubbing, analyzing, peeling the onion layers back since Sunday night, Monday morning.
Yep.
You can, as you say, and this is what I love you to death, I can convince you either side of the story. That's what makes it so great, where you look at it and say, I can see that. And then you flip the story and go, no, I can see that too. So you make the decision.
I used to do it every day. People would come up to the counter and say, well, what do you like? And I would go, well, I don't know yet. I haven't looked. How about you? And then they would make their case. And I would go, but have you thought about this? And they go, oh. And I go, well, what are you going to bet? Well, I'm still going to bet what I think. Oh, okay. All right. Just wanted to present this idea. So that's the way you got to do it. JD, these lines are the sharpest of the year right now. Right now. We find edges in week 12 when we do this. We find edges in week 7 on a total that's wrong. I think these lines are, this is tighter than a snare drum. I don't know.
I'm going to just take Saturday here.
Right.
I'm going to state my cases for both sides, for both games, and then I'm going to turn the stage over to you. Listen, the public remembers what they saw last. The Titans were off. Joe and Chase put on another show. Okay, you can dissect that one any way you want. I will say this, that you had to win the turnover battle, which Vegas didn't do. They strip sack. Fortunate only gave up a field goal.
Yeah.
But the real big boneheaded play was on the kickoff where he doesn't stand 1 foot out of bounds, and it cost him 38 yards. And they started on the 2, and then obviously 3 and out. And then since he comes down and scores again. But the bottom line is Vegas had 4 shots, but they spiked the ball. But they had 3 shots to tie the game. Okay.
Yep.
Tennessee sitting on the bye. O. Henry's coming back. They're getting healthier, but no one's talking about them. So I think the value is on Titans. I think they're underpriced here. Okay. So on your thread this morning, basically in a nutshell, in August and September, we have pre-flop, everyone, pre-flop. 49ers to win the NFC, 49ers to win the Super Bowl. We also now have the Packers plus 375 to win the Super Bowl. The line opened at 4.5, and then word got out that Jimmy G potentially wasn't going to play. So I'm calling a correction. I'm not calling a big line move. I'm calling a quick correction. It goes to 6. And now as the week progressed, Jimmy G's going to play. Yes, it's going to be 8 degrees. But the bottom line is now it's starting to leak to 5.5. Again, people remember what they saw last. 49ers was last week's public trendy dog. They hold on. They beat Dallas. Now they got a West Coast team traveling to the frozen tundra with a banged-up quarterback to face a well-rested Aaron Rodgers team. I think this line reminds me of the Bengals and the Raiders, where I think the Raiders were the right side, but wrong results last week. I think that the Packers find a way to win by 7 or more. So if you wanted my 2 leans for the first 2 games, very simply, I would buy the hook on Tennessee. I would take them down to -3. Hope they win by 4 or more. And right now, you can get the Packers at 5.5. That's a dead number anyways. You can leave it there, or maybe it sneaks to 5. Your thoughts on Saturday?
So Saturday, the first game is 3.5. And you said you'd buy the hook. Do you recommend doing that more often than not, or just in big games like this? And is the price prohibitive to the point where you wouldn't bet it rather than buy it? Because I get asked this all the time. And I'm like, hey, it's a personal preference. If you're okay with laying 3.5 and losing if they win by 3, then, you save the juice. Okay. But you lost. If you buy it to 3 and you pay extra and it falls 3, you push. Okay. But you also risk, if you lose even more. So where do you stand with that? Because I know, with the service and, with the things, like I see a lot of times you'll do that and you'll hear a lot of people tell you, don't ever buy points here. Don't do this. Don't do that. There's no one way to do anything. So while we're here together, what is your feeling on that?
I talk about consistency, and I'm trying to pull up the actual money line for you to prove.
Well, I mean, my argument in this case is, why wouldn't you just play the money line?
Well, that's where I'm going here is this, Dave. Okay. I don't want to invest 3 hours to kiss my sister and push.
Correct.
Okay? We like to say here at ECSI, we turn losses into pushes. We turn pushes into wins. Okay. So technically, you would want to buy the full point, get it off the 3 to 2.5 in case it lands on 3. But that makes 0 sense because you're going through 3 to 2.5. It's going to cost you more money. Therefore, you would take Tennessee minus the, 175 money line?
It's mostly 180s.
Okay. So theoretically, if I could buy the hook to 125, so you get the Titans minus 125.
They charge now minus 135 on the 3.
Okay. So now, okay, this is a perfect example then. 135 at the 3 versus minus 180 to just win.
Right.
Okay. So common sense when you get the text and the alert would be this: Titans money line minus 180. Pause. Use the risk button. It's your best friend
Right.
because 180 is too big of juice. It's too steep for 95% of the people. Some people have no problem laying 180,
Right.
190. Okay, so if I'm $100 better and I'm like, geez, Jeff, I don't want to risk 180 to win 100. I get it. Just use the risk button. Risk
Right.
100. You will win. You will profit less, but
Right.
you're also going to lose less. So what are you going to get back there, Dave? 60?
Minus 180, 90 wins 50, 100 wins. Yeah, a little bit. I think a little under, a little over. But yeah, I agree. That's so. I mean, I think you just have to make a personal choice. Like a lot of people get hung up on that. I'm like, you can do either or. I mean, that's fine. I just like the fact that, I mean, with the close spread, expect the game to be close. I like Tennessee too. All right. You're absolutely right. Seen it for decades. And when there were two buys, you saw it two times in each conference. Now you only see it once, where they do forget about the team that was on a buy and they fall in love with the team that just won. It happens all the time. And usually the lines actually reflect that. I don't know if this line reflects it. I thought this line should be a little bit higher. I thought this line would be 4.5, you know, and all this talk about Henry, this, Henry, that. They're averaging almost the same number of yards, they got the same number of wins with Henry, without Henry. Yes, it will make an impact. Yes, it will help. So, okay, how much is it worth in the spread? Almost nothing. The line is what it is. And I mean, Joe Burrow's one of the coolest young quarterbacks in the game. I love it. I'm going to get some pink glasses myself. I got to find those things and I'm going to wear them on shows. If they win this week, you can guarantee it. I love it. I love when kids come up or young guys come up and kind of own it and, prove it on the field. Cincinnati's a fun football team. That's a big step. Getting a home game, winning the division, winning the home game playoff in that was a tough game. The Raiders were pretty good. Had a great season and a tumultuous, everything that could go bad did, and then some, and they got them to the playoffs. It was a great story. I think that, would it surprise me that Cincy wins? No, not at all. Do I think they will? No, I don't think they will. I think the road ends for Cincy in Tennessee. I like Tennessee. The other game, man, I think Green Bay's the best team. I think Rodgers is on a mission, has been all season. Just they're physical. Green Bay's a physical football team. They haven't been in years past. They're physical. They have a 1-2 running back punch that can get ahead and then salt away games running the ball. He can hand the ball to A.J. Dillon, who you saw at BC, right? He can carry them to win when they're ahead. So I like Green Bay, but now the line, I mean, it looked appealing at 4.5. I don't know if it does when it gets to 6. And I think the market told you that. Like, yeah, that's too many points. San Francisco's defense can keep them in this game. This can be a field goal game. These two teams have traded battles the past couple years in San Francisco, though. The game has been in San Francisco. Packers and Green Bay in San Francisco have usually resulted in the Niners winning. This year, the Packers he left them too much time, and Rodgers went down and scored with 38 seconds left, and they won 30-28. So, I mean, you want to talk about money lines? Like, I would take Green Bay on the money line here. I don't know if you're going to get a better number in game, but if Green Bay gets up, I know you will. If San Francisco gets up, I know you will get a better number on Green Bay. So those things have to happen. I talked about on another show, if bets, Jeff. And they were like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, something called an if bet, that you had action if this happened. So if Tennessee won and covered, I had an if bet on Green Bay minus 5.5. And they're like, you could do that? I'm like, you have no idea what you could and couldn't do back in the day. It was great. It was a great conversation. It reminded me again how crazy we all are in this business, but how much I love it. I think San Francisco Green Bay goes over. I that's the other. I'm watching this number. It's 47, pretty much painted. I think I'm hearing a lot of, boy, this is a defensive battle, this and that, whatever. I think Green Bay's going to score. I think Green Bay's going to get 28 points minimum. I think they score 4 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns and a field goal, 31. So all I need is 20, 17 to get us over. And that's the final score that I'm thinking of. So that's my Saturday kind of look. I'm going to do, I don't know how many hours of content today after you and I get done. I got a couple, regular gigs. So I'll be on for at least 4 hours, and I'm sure we're going to preview it and talk about it. Tried to ask my wife this morning on Twitter. I posted that video, ask her who she liked. She didn't want to hear it anymore. She's been listening to me all week, asking people, talking. I can't wait for the games, JD. I can't wait for the football games. Oh, and you didn't even get to Sunday yet. Sunday, I'm literally appointment viewing. I think the 2 best games maybe of the season are happening on Sunday. 2 completely different contrast of styles, too.
Sunday. Actually, before we get to Sunday, now you've worked in the books for 20 plus years. Now you're sitting on the other side, just taking everything in. Take it from a professional standpoint, take it from the public's eyes, or more the professional, knowing what you know, where we are today. Does the fact that all the favorites came in last week, but 49ers, does that play? It's almost like playing that Jedi mind tricks where the books and the casinos want that, because you're saying, I mean, you could, a blind squirrel gets a nut every time. I mean, you could just blindly take all 4 home teams. They're all favored. And what, at worst go 2-2, you would think. You might get a 3-1. I doubt you get a 4-0. But A, that's in the back of my head. And B, San Fran has already lost to Green Bay this year at home. And then Sunday, the Rams have already beat the Bucks.
Yep.
And the Bills have already beat the Chiefs.
Yep.
So there's the double Jedi mind games there.
Oh, yeah. People overthink this. I mean, this is, as far as the book, it comes into not a factor at all. Like there's no like, oh, well, last week was bad, let's change the way we do things. That's one of the best things about the book. It's always just the numbers. And a lot of times it's to their detriment. They don't change. It's just, it can be good when it's good, but it can be bad when it's bad. You can go through streaks where your numbers suck and you just won't adjust it. You keep making Phoenix a short favorite in basketball and you keep losing. And then you finally adjust it and you go, oh, they lost. And you needed the damn favorite because you over adjusted. So you struggle to just work on the process. But as far as last week and this week, it means nothing what happened last week. It's literally a day-to-day and a week-to-week thing, but they're independent of each other. 4 games, results-wise, if I was to make odds, 2-2 is the favorite. Two dogs, 2 favorites. That's what's going to happen. 3-1 favorites is the second choice. 3-1 dogs is the third choice. 4-0 favorites, 4-0 dogs is a distant bottom choice. This is the time when the teams are the best, and the best teams don't always win, but they win more than they don't. So yeah, I everybody's trying to pick the dog that's going to win on the money line. There's probably going to be one. I don't know. Could there be 2? Of course. Could there be 3? Oh, I think that's a big ask. But I think there can be 2. We might be looking at them both on Sunday.
And from a book's perspective, I was listening to John Murray earlier yesterday, and again, to kill all those money line parlays, they always need at least one of those, to kind of slow down the horses.
Yeah,
We won't even get involved in the teasers or anything, but if you can get that one dog to pop, it slows the madness down.
for sure. That's all you need. From the book's perspective, 3-1, I'll sign for tomorrow. Sign for tomorrow. That's easy. We used to say that all the time. I mean, you can't win every game as the book. You can't win every game as the better. You're just trying to win more than you lose. I mean, for the book, you just need to win the same. I mean, you need to go 500 because you're getting the juice. So that works. When you're betting, you got to win more than you lose. You got to win a little bit more than you lose because of the juice you have to overcome. So it's a daily grind, daily battle. And, I think what happens, Jeff, is that, and like not a lot of people talking about it. I actually talked about it with Behow on the game within the game and 8 in the box myself. You see people over bet this week. They bet too many props. They bet too many. They tie all the games together and it's like, because this is it. After this week, there's 2 games. Then after that, there's 1. So you get this kind of hype and feeling. And this is great because the way they set up the games. These are the marquee matchups on Sunday. If you got Tennessee and Green Bay in a money line parlay or a teaser or just a regular parlay, it rolls into Sunday. Oh, the handle's going to be fantastic for these games on Sunday.
Okay, here's my take on Sunday.
Yep.
I'll break down both of them. The Rams in Tampa, I saw something last week I think that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
I saw the emergence of Cam Akers. Man, that kid runs hard. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can do it all. He added another dimension. Listen, Sony was a good stopgap, but Akers is like apples and oranges watching that kid run.
Battering ram.
And the reemergence of, it kills me to say this, but I'm going to say it, Odell Beckham. Yes, he's back. He wasn't the problem in Cleveland. Yes, he was, but that's a whole nother. But the fact of the matter is, you can now use Cup as a decoy, let them double him, and then next Odell's getting into space. And we know when Odell's locked in and focused, he's a game changer. Yeah. And Cup's had an historic season. And here comes Odell. Here comes Cam Akers. Gay is probably I'm a Tucker fan. He's a top 3 kicker in the game. Defenses travel. That O-line, it's funny. Tampa won the Super Bowl last year, and they didn't want to hear a peep about the Kansas City fans. The fact that Patrick A was hurt, and B, he didn't have his left or right tackle. Well, guess what, Mr. Brady? Get ready, because your boy from Iowa is going to try to play. He's got a bum ankle. There's a guy across the other side called Donald, okay? And then there's another guy called Von Miller, okay? So you got your left and your right tackle banged up. And we all know this. You get Brady off the spots and his comfort zone, he does have the deer in the headlights. So if you can jump on the Rams plus the 3 right now, grab it. As a lot of our friends like to say, a little plus 131, sprinkle a little beer and pizza money on them to win outright. I think the Rams are primed here. Tampa's offense banged up. We know about that. I just think, listen, I know if it comes down to the fourth quarter, 5 minutes to go, who would you rather have, Brady or Stafford? I get that part of it, but I don't think it's going to get to that point. I think the Rams are going to come in, get out early. They're going to take care of business. Now, again, you have to win the turnover battle. You can't have one hiccup. Jimmy G had that one hiccup where the game was over, and then he throws the pick, and then Dallas is back in it. So Rams is my lean on the first game. And this second game, I'll be 1,000,000% honest with you. Every time, listen, Vegas telling us they're making a stance. They've circled the wagons. It's time now for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to take supremacy. over the Chiefs. Every time I get to that point and I say, I'm going to do it, I just step back and I'm like, Jesus, you can give me Kansas City minus 125 money line, not 1.5 or 2 points, money line right now at the Circa or at South Point, and they just got to win. A team that's been to 2 straight Super Bowls, a team that was a coin flip away from going to 3 straight Super Bowls. I know what Buffalo's all about. I know what Josh is all about. I know that they beat the crap out of Kansas City already this year. I just can't get there, Dave. I just can't get there.
I know. It's so hard. It's I've gone back and forth so many times this week about it too. This will be one that I won't have anything pre-flop. Be the first one to tell you. I'll wait and watch this one. Just because I don't think like taking Buffalo at plus anything right now at this price, we're going to take them plus 1.5 or plus 2. It doesn't mean anything to me. And laying the points right now, I don't need to do that either. If I was going to take a pre-flop position, I would take Kansas City. The total's fascinating to me because I know the book said, all right, what did it close last time? It was 38-20. We can't use 58 because we know we'll get, bad guys will hammer the under, but we got to use over 52. So what do we put it? Let's go 55 or 54.5 and take the professional money under that we need. And then we'll get to a number. We'll sit where they stop betting under. And then we'll just let everybody bet over. We'll probably try to need the under because it is a high number. And then they'll lose. Like the game's going to go over. I mean, it just feels that way to me. I don't think these two teams, all of a sudden somebody's going to come up with a defensive game plan to stop the other team. No. Buffalo's going to score. Kansas City's going to score. Whoever scores last is going to win. I mean, I just hope it's that fun game. I hope it lives up to the billing. I'll take a defensive game and take an under game if it's close. I don't want to see a blowout, Jeff. I don't want to. As a football fan, this is the matchup that you kind of wanted to see in the AFC Championship, and we got it a week early. Okay. I can't wait. So the other game, this Tom Brady has just terrorized my Steelers and the entire AFC for years. Been picking against them. Been rooting against them. I bet against them the perfect season. I'm like, they ain't going perfect. Finally got paid a little bit towards the back end, but I'm like, they're not this good. No, they are this good. Every single week. And now we're coming to this. And Tampa's a small favorite. And all the short money, everybody's on the Rams. Now the people are saying, the Rams, they can do it. They got Stafford. They got the better defense. Do they? I don't know. They do got the better. I mean, this Akers is a battering ram. No pun intended, but I'll use it anyway. You got the Tampa Bay team at their weakest. I think the Rams are live. They are very, very, very live. And then, if it's Green Bay hosting the Rams are live to go to the Super Bowl and be the second time ever, last year being the first, that a team gets to play the game in their home stadium. It would be amazing. It would be a great story. But so would a rematch of Tampa going to Green Bay. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What that would be fantastic. And I don't know. Either way, I hope we don't get robbed of it. Green Bay better hold up their end of the bargain and at least get it done, because if San Francisco wins, it's going to mess it all up. I can't wait for Sunday, man. I mean, Saturday's going to be good. Saturday's the appetizer. Sunday is the main course, and it's bring both surf and turf. All right, we're getting 2 really, hopefully good games. Fully engaged. I cannot wait.
caught a couple words on the street this week, and I'll speed this up because I know you got an action-packed day ahead of you, and I don't want to get my buddy Matt all upset here.
Don't
I
worry
gotta
about
give
it.
you
We're
enough
good.
time. I got to give you enough time, sir, in between. The stage people might want to give you a quick powder up, or check your cab.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got the stage people.
The po-
You're right. I get all this scripted stuff. We got all this other stuff. Yeah, we got scripts. We got powder puff people. Sure. Don't give away all the secrets, Jeffrey. What are you doing?
The post-production crew and all that stuff. And it kind of caught me off guard. We hear Tom Brady, 45 years old, wants to, that was the number and stuff. Word on the street is this is it. This is it. And
What do you mean this is it?
This
Is
is
the last go around?
This is it. And his falling out with Arians. If you watch Tom the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's gotten into that every play in your face. You did this wrong. You did that wrong. If you watch what Arians has been the last 4 weeks, I mean, just last week, jumping on the sideline, hitting his guy in the head, everyone's on eggshells. Gronk has been quietly talking about it. This is it. This is it.
He's done after this.
That was the rumors, and I'm not here to spread wildfire or whatever.
No.
And I don't want anyone coming back at me and saying, "Hey, dude, what the hell are you talking?" I'm just telling you, I caught some words this week, and it opened my eyes because I was like, "What are you talking about?" Rumor, this is it. He's closing shop. And I don't know if him and Gronk are going out. That's why last year when they won it made so much sense where you could get on that white horse. You won it at home. You flip the bird to Bill and you go live life. And I think maybe he just wanted one more with all the injuries. With again, the Arians thing, the Antonio Brown now blowing up, and a lot of stuff is going on in Tampa right now. Just go back and take a look at some of Arians' antics. Take a look at Tom the last month, and everyone is just like in that. I just had 5 Red Bulls. I'm like shaking, like what are you doing? And so again, I hope I'm wrong. It's been a great story. He's gotten us a few times, as you said. I watched 2 decades of this thing, and shout out to my boy Marty Lowe. Titans up. I don't know if you'll be at the game. If you are, send us a lot of pictures. Again, I'm asking, have you heard anything like this, or is this just like way coming from left field?
No, I haven't heard a thing, but it makes sense. But we've had to ask that question every year. I thought he was done that last year in New England when he walked off the field, throwing that interception to Tennessee and tighten up 1 on the road, and then he goes to Tampa. They win the Super Bowl in Tampa. Everything goes right last year. Everything went right. I mean, health-wise, team-wise, coach-wise. First year's always good. Second year's hard. It's like a relationship. That first year, you're on that honeymoon for a while. That second year, you're like, man. I mean, that's when all the real stuff happens, and that's when all the like, do we really love each other? Like, we got to get through this. Like, so makes perfect sense. And like the AB stuff, he could count on AB. He ain't there. He could count on Godwin. He ain't there. When you're 45 and you got to count on 20-something-year-olds, and they're not matching your listen. Don't tell me the pass wasn't here, or let's go practice. I'll go practice. Let's go practice at night at a park and something, whatever. Like, and they're like, yeah, man, I got to go do TikTok videos, or I got this, or I got that. Like, it gets frustrating. Believe me, I got kids. You got kids. Sometimes you're just like, please just do what I tell you. And then you get frustrated. So I could see the frustration, but I haven't heard it. I don't think does that affect the handicap for you? I don't think it should.
No, I put it this way. Okay. 2 straight years, Rodgers has got me at San Fran, and he got me last year. I mean, Brady was the perfect storm.
In the NFC Championship?
Yeah.
He got all of us. They
And,
owe.
and I mean, the perfect storm for Brady last year. Playing grab ass to start the season, bye week, win the last 5 games. Then you go to Washington, Heineke's first start ever, 11-point favorites. Going to the Saints where Breeze couldn't throw it over 20 yards. They win there. Then they go to the Packers, 3.5-point dogs, 3, 2.5, whatever
Yeah.
it closed at.
Yeah.
And they got out early. And the killer was right before half when they let Scotty Miller catch that touchdown from 50 yards to put the
That
dagger.
changed the game, that pass.
Yes, and the fact that Rodgers had the ball not once, not twice, but 3 times in the fourth quarter to tie it up and didn't.
And didn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I've told you, I think this Rodgers swan song reminds me of the Elway swan song where he got
Yeah.
there early, and this is it where Rodgers wins this week. He beats Tom or whoever next week, gets to the Super Bowl. I think they'll win the Super Bowl. And then he decides,
Right.
all right, are you going to trade Jordan Love, rip up my contract, and I'll stay here for another 3 years till I'm 40? Or I'm going to go on the market and I'm taking my show
It's
elsewhere.
coming to Pittsburgh, baby. Steelers are going to sign a free agent quarterback. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Look out. That would be awesome.
All right, Dave, stage is yours. I know we've had the crawler here, but tell the world where they can find you.
So basically, I'm doing it like this. So it's my podcast, Cash Considerations and 8 in the Box. You can find both of them on YouTube at Cash Considerations Podcast. They're available to download and get wherever you get podcasts. Every day I do another show Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. It's called Bostonian versus the Book. Me and Peralt do this. Basically, we look at the day in sports, different topics. We go back and forth. That's available for download as well right after as well. Then every night on Sports Grid and SiriusXM 159, I'm on what's called In-Game Live. Multiple hosts. I do TV, do radio exclusively in the middle with Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh, and then go back on the TV side with Dane Martinez and Scott Wetzel, another Boston guy. Actually, there's a lot of Boston guys in this. The first hour is with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, Canadian guys. We do a lot of hockey talk that first hour, back and forth. But it's Monday through Friday, 4 to 7. Again, Pacific, 7 to 10 Eastern. While the games are on, it's a great second screen experience. We laugh. We tell stories just like this. Have a lot of fun. Sirius XM 159, if you're out driving in the car, talk about in-game betting and when to make a play or what this line will be. So, and then in between, we do shows like the Breakfast Bankroll, brother. Like we just, we talk wherever we can. We're growing the network. We're growing the people. Follow on the Twitter at SportsBKConsig. Obviously, we mention you every single week on the show on Cash Considerations. It's like family. You say that all the time. We're all trying to find our space everywhere in life. And, guys like us, a little bit older, but we could still do it. We may have a little less hair than these kids, and that's fine. But we got a little more experience than all of them, which is fine. And we can kind of mesh and work together and just find good information. So that's the battle every day.
I couldn't have said it better. And with the gold rush here, as we talk about the fact that I think we're up to 32 states live or available to be kicking, the resurgence, emergence, I don't know what you want to call what FanDuel, DraftKings, and Barstools and all these other guys are doing. We could talk for hours about props, in games, parlays.
I just got a text alert that DraftKings stock is down under 20 today. It's under 20. I mean, there's a lot going on in the space, JD, a lot.
Post the pandemic had started and there was no sports. And so ECSI got onto the off the stool, and then we got out of our comfort zone. We started doing our own PGA work. We started dabbling into the stock market. I sent out an alert. It's got to be over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. bar stools had plummeted to $4. I said buy at 10. It peaked at 142. And I said get on the DraftKings at 10. And that peaked at around 70. And now they're all just crashing back. So everyone that got on at those numbers obviously made a boatload. They got out. Make your profit. You always want to turn a profit here. But it's just so crazy, Dave. And I'll take experience with battle scars, wounds, versus bright smiles, and I can't TikTok yet. I can't twerk. I can't do any of that. I'm sorry. I last time I tried to dance, I pulled the hip. Next thing you know, I'm walking like Fred Sanford saying, Elizabeth, it's the big one. I'm sorry.
Coming to join you, honey. Oh, I love that show, by the way. I loved Sanford and Son. That was so good. Yeah. Hey, listen, I still got it. I could dance. I love to dance, and I could do whatever moves these kids can do. I'm still out in the field 3 days a week, pitching, catching. I was out at the field last night. It was a little cold. I had to track a fly ball in the outfield down, and they were like, Coach Dave. I'm like, what? I still got it. I said, it's fun. It is. I think that's one of the most important things that we all have to keep in mind. You got to keep it fun. If you have to keep it fun. There's 2%, maybe 3% of the people out there doing this for blood. I mean, for life, money, and they're assassins. They're killers. They're marksmen. They're going to beat you. And I know that in the book. It's fine. I used to take their bets too. There's nobody that I wouldn't take bets from. And maybe that's bravado. Maybe that's whatever. But I never kicked anybody out, dating back to my days in Curacao. I would have to, when they would tell people in the book, whatever book I was at, they're like, oh, this guy can't bet her anymore. I'm like, you tell him. I ain't telling him. That's a bad reason. Why? Because he got a better number on you put the bet up. I was always the guy in the book that was for the player. But I always kept it fun. If you told me the limit was 10 dimes and the guy came in with 50, I looked for a way to take the 50. That's what we're supposed to do in the book is take bets. And as the bettor, we're supposed to get the best number. So when I get the best number as a bettor and you're kicking me out of your book, all right, that's your discretion. That's fine. But most people don't got to worry about getting kicked out of a book because they're betting $10 and $20. That's fun. And they're watching the games. So that's what we're going to do this weekend, JD, is have fun. And, I tell people all the time, sign up for the service. If for nothing else, just to see, maybe you get some help. You're deep into the college basketball. I'm just getting in the weeds for real this week. I've been watching a lot more college basketball because after Sunday, it's college basketball first and foremost. Well, no, NBA for me, because I used to book the NBA exclusively, and really dive into it. So I've been watching all the NBA games that I can and doing the numbers. That's fine. But the college basketball season started for real for me this week. So, and there's games every day, opportunities every day. And the college basketball winners and losers pay the same as the NFL winners and losers. I tell people that all the time too. You don't just have to bet football. If you like to bet a college basketball first half. You want to sweat? Bet a college basketball team total at the end of a game and live that high and low and hopefully high when you get to the window after. It's quite the sweat. Or golf. Golf season for real starting for you now. So there's all kind of different things. I'm staying up because I'm crazy. I'm watching this Australian Open because I can't sleep. And I'm up watching. And I love it because everyone in the house is sleeping. I got a wife and 3 daughters, mother-in-law, father-in-law, all living in the same roof now, same house. There's a lot of, during the day, it's a lot of noise, a lot of action. At night, there's nothing going on. And I get to watch tennis. And, with the apps and stuff, you can get on and get a little action in tennis. So just keep it fun. Keep it fun and enjoy the games.
Wow.
How'd we do? 1 hour. We're out right there. Perfect time. Let's go.
I couldn't have said it better. And I always like to close this way. Listen, if you're wagering today, tonight, tomorrow, this weekend, always wager responsibly. Wager with your head, not your heart. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number there. Ask for help. Why? Because we care. We want you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 22 and beyond. As Dave says, have fun. Have fun with this. That's all. If you are on the edge of your seat for every missed extra point, pick six, missed free throw, you got too much skin in the game. It's when it just brushes off your shoulder. It's just numbers. It's gonna. You listen. If you're 0 for 6 in empty netters and overtimes, your 6-0 is coming. Trust me.
It
Okay.
is.
So for myself, Jeff Dawson, and always a blast, Mr. Dave Sharapan, we wish you the best of luck. Have a blessed day. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see you soon.